Welcome to Mark Bajerski YouTube channel. I've been a healer for the past 2 decades, working on thousands of clients with different issues and problems. One of the things that I had just one of those spur of the moments where I wanted to share with the world about trauma in teenagers, children, and why trauma affects them. And it's something that mainstream never wants you to talk about because it's basically affecting mainstream, and that is the schooling system. So if you look back on my videos, 2 or 3 videos down, you'll see it. And it's of a dog and a man on the screenshot. So just watch it. It caused a lot of controversy. It sparked a lot of anger. I got a lot of nasty messages. Normally the case where they're upset with me, it's like it's my fault. Of course it's my fault for pointing out truth. It seems to be when you point out truth that you're the baddie for pointing out truth. Not those that create the issue, but the person that's actually exposing it. It's incredible how the system has created this mindset now. And one of the things that was said to me, well, many of them, it's easy for you to say, but you haven't got 3 children, and you expect me to homeschool. I don't expect anything. I'm not saying anything. I'm just pointing out the fact that school is challenging. And the whole point of making that video is for you to be aware that sometimes trauma, that you're trying to find trauma in your children when they're sad and not happy, that sometimes it's so close, it's in your face that, it could be school. Wow, I didn't realize that. And this is who I am. This is how I make content, to make you think. And if it gets you mad, that's fine, no problem. They even restricted my my video because they don't want me to talk about the school system. Of course they don't, So a few other messages came in as well. Not very nice. You're always talking about issues but not their solutions. Yeah, I mean, I've made 2,400 videos plus, and I think there's a few solutions in them videos, but it's so easy to jump onto this judgment, attack, belittle, mock, ridicule energy. It's so rife on social media. That's why I took a few weeks off, because it was hard work. It really is difficult to see the spew, the guts, the worst of humanity in their knee-jerk reactions. And of course, to me, it's one of the biggest points of healing the world, this knee-jerk reaction. That's why if you look at nearly all my videos, I talk about knee-jerk reaction. Why? Because if we learn not to knee-jerk react, then the world will be a better place. It will be easier. It would be easier for all people, and trauma would just probably go down to 50%. So, okay, I think maybe it's a good time to talk about solutions. So your child, your teenager, let's talk about what the main issues are right now in the world. I see depression, which is just a word, anxiety, which just is a word. So I guess, well, should we tackle anxiety? Let's tackle that first of all. It kind of covers quite a lot. So there's a few tiers of the word anxiety. There's a tier, 2 tier. Let's stick with 2 tiers. The first one is physical abuse, and the second one is of what you experience through your eyes, the internet, or people saying things on the internet, and that can be a build-up of either the physical or simply the observation of what's happening in the world. 2 energies, but 2 energies that can be easily fixed and tackled. And I've seen it over the years with my clients. One particular client had 38 years of anxiety, 38 years, and within 3 months it was gone. It actually went within the first hour. It was gone within the first hour. And she was crying because she said, I don't feel anxious at all. I can't believe this. I never knew it could happen. And it can happen. And it's a simple case of clearing what's called frequency energy. So if we let's tackle it from this lady then. She was like a middle-aged lady, like me. But I'm not a lady, I'm a man. So, where do we start? Well, as a perspective from a healer's point of view, looking at the client, I didn't know what was wrong with her. No idea. I laid her down and started working on twofold energy. One hand was on the stomach and the other hand was on, I think it was probably mid to center here of the brain. And the burning process. And the burning process is normally unwanted energy that's stuck, trapped, trauma, negative thoughts, or whatever that dark matter is. And as a healer, we know that when we are over the target, so to speak, that we need to stay there because we feel tingling in our hands. So we just stay in them places and we kind of wait till it dissipates and disappears. All healers see it in a different way, but I just see it as a beautiful light that pours through us, goes into the client and clears it away. So after 1 hour, the client gets up and feels herself. Now, what does that mean? Well, I think we are constantly bombarded with poisons, both mind, body, spirit. Poisons meaning physical and spiritual and emotional. So what we see, what we eat, and what we feel, the negative energy around us. So that can be a build-up, and that can stick and stay somewhere in the body, and that festers away if we leave it there, if we allow it there, and we are really our own worst enemy. So if we believe something enough, then we create it and manifest it. So the body is very clever and it doesn't really know the difference between positive energy and negative energy. So if you've got negative thoughts, your body creates more of it and it feeds it. So when this lady got up, she'd never felt like this before. So she left, and sure enough, this is normally what happens. A few weeks later, she comes back again feeling bad. So I used to see this quite a lot at the very beginning, and I used to sit and ponder on this thought. First of all, I don't like people coming back all the time because I'm either doing something wrong or they're not fixing what needs to be fixed. And I'm thinking, how can I help them from not paying? At that time, it was €60 for a healing session many, many years ago. And I don't want you to pay €60 all the time. And they were saying, no, I want to pay. I've never felt this good. I say, yeah, I know, but after the healing session, it's up to you then, because I only give you 1 hour. Then you've got the rest of your life. Every hour of the day, you've got to work on yourself. So I've figured out that what was happening is the client was being relieved of this negative energy. They felt like they should feel. We all should feel like that. Which is empty, ready to be filled with good energy. And so she goes away and she goes back to the same environment. That's the house, that's the husband, that's the children, and that environment's toxic. Why? Well, first of all, the son was smoking wacky-backy all day. The father lost his job, couldn't be asked to get up. She was the only person making money. And it was it was a catastrophe waiting to happen as soon as she went back home. So within a couple of weeks, she's back to the same anxiety. A healer can't fix that. So I give her healing again, and she opens up. And I said, look, next time you feel bad after leaving here, that could be the root cause of what's happening to you and why you're feeling anxiety. So she came back again, anxiety, and I said, do you recall the first moment you started feeling anxious? She says, yeah, when I walked through the door. And I said, so whatever's through the door is something that needs to be resolved. So coming back for a healing session will only give you a few weeks, sometimes a month, of feeling like you're okay, and then eventually that energy starts pouring in and you can't cope anymore, and then you have this breakdown or this anxiety attack. So if you look at it from that perspective, that is a visual perspective of an experience that you're having, but it's not really you, it's other people, okay? And other people and other situations that's happening in your life is causing you stress, causing you upset, pain. Whatever you're saying isn't getting across, people are not listening, or you're not saying anything because you daren't say anything. So this needs to be resolved, this aspect. So when we eventually sat down and I said, the only way you'll ever heal your anxiety is walking through that door and being open and honest with everybody and explaining that I eventually I'm going to break down and I'm going to be sick and I'm not going to be able to do anything for anybody. So I need your help. So, the son eventually stopped wacky backy. The husband got up off his ass and realized that, if she has another breakdown, eventually that breakdown will be even more severe and cause a lot of ill health, and it might be a permanent ill health because the body can only cope with so much. So everybody got up, he got a job, the son stopped wacky backy, and then I think he got a job as well, and I never saw her there much after that, and that made me happy because okay, everything's resolved now. So whatever you're going through in life, there's two people that I see, like two ladies. One lady's going through the issue of what she's seeing and her life and her lifestyle and everything that she's doing in her life that causes the anxiety, and everybody who's in her life that she feels is causing that anxiety. That is something that she has to face up to. Same with a guy, you have to face up to what it is which is causing that anxiety and face it head on and try and change your life. There is a way that we do say as healers that we have to grow stronger than the issue. So you can walk into the house and say, you know what, I couldn't give a shit about my husband. Get a job, don't get a job, I don't care. You want to smoke yourself to death, you want to smoke yourself to being a bum, no problem. You keep smoking, right? Because you're not doing it for health. Because I know some people smoke for health and it makes them feel better because they've got issues in their body, bones and stuff, and that's fair enough. But if you're just smoking all the time and you've not got a life, you're not got a job, you're not doing something productive, that's all you're doing is smoking in your way. You know what? It's okay. You keep doing it. It's not going to affect me anymore. That's a way of healing, letting it go. But that takes extreme power. Because we've been led to believe if we say, I don't care about this, I'm growing stronger than this, that basically you don't care and you're selfish. So that's been put there to you to stop you from healing and growing stronger. So for me, I had issues in my life that I was going through, and I felt anxiety. And one day I said, I can't, I'm not dealing with this no more. I'm getting upset over stuff that I can't change. And I tried to communicate with the people that I cared for and loved, and they wouldn't, there was no, let me think about that, or I'll do my best. So I thought, you know what, let it go, let the pain, let the people saying nasty things go. And I remember sat down and I put my hand on my head, I don't know why, and I said the words, no one has the power over you. And I saying it is one thing, but meaning it is another. And I really meant it. I put my hand, no one has the power over you. And there was a penny drop moment that I realized that it was me who was causing my anxiety. So I could easily blame my mentor. I could easily blame other people. But that's just putting blame out there. That's not fixing anything. No. It's me. It's my fault that I allow this suffering to happen. It's my fault that I'm feeling anxiety. Not their fault. It's my fault because I'm allowing it into my life. And actually, that's their issue, not mine. They've got to handle that just like I have to handle my issue. Therefore, blame out of the window. It's gone. Don't blame you for not having a job. Don't blame you for smoking. It's no problem. But I'm not allowing this to affect me anymore, and no one has the power over me, because that had the power over me. My son smoking had the power over me. My mentor who was saying nasty things had the power over me. No one had, and that once you hit that level of you truly mean this, no one's got the power over me to make me feel bad anymore. something happens, it's a penny drop moment, and then everything just changes. It almost like changes that you don't see it anymore, it doesn't affect you anymore. It's incredible. I'm not saying that you can do that, but what I am saying is the first step before you do that is confront the root cause and don't be frightened of it. Look at it, smile at it, and say, let's find a solution. Let's work at this and find a solution. First step. If it doesn't resolve and you've tried, then try the other one. I've done my best. I did my best. I'm now going to leave them to get on with it. I trust you guys to look after them, but I've done my best, and please now look after them. I need to look after myself. And then you raise your energy. So that's one aspect of anxiety. The other aspect is being abused physically abused. That could be like me. I used to have an auction house, and I did one night did a big auction, had a lot of money in my briefcase. Got home and there was somebody waiting in the car park where I lived, and he jumped into my van, stuck a electric thing, you know, them and it never worked. It burnt me, and then he smashed me in my face, and he grabbed my he was a big guy, grabbed my suitcase and ran off. I chased him. I got a brick, found a brick in the wall, threw it, hit him on his back. He fell over, the briefcase fell, he ran off. I got my briefcase. It went into the newspapers because somebody saw it all happening and mentioned it, and then the papers came to me and asked me what happened. And I fought this monster off and got the briefcase back. 4 days later, I was sat in my chair, my IKEA black chair, watching telly, and all of a sudden I started shaking and I started having this anxiety attack. And, when, anyway, I had this anxiety attack and I couldn't stop it. It was like, and it's an awful feeling thinking to yourself that you're not in control of your body. So guys, I totally know what anxiety is. I've been through it, and not just that, many other things. So I understand it, and I understand my clients going through it. So worst case scenario, a girl at 18, 20 comes to me and she's been abused. Okay, she's been abused by a boyfriend or by a stranger, and she is now in a complete her life's completely changed. Okay, so that is another aspect of how anxiety and depression can start to take over you. The second one, actually, you would think it's even harder to let go and forget about. And I can only tell you through my experience on a personal level, because I've been through that, but also close members of my family. And like you probably know, lots of people, it happens kind of all the time. And you can either be a victim from that moment on. So I am a victim. I was raped, I was abused. I'm a victim now, so I'm going to always use that for the rest of my life. Or you can say, actually, I'm not going to be a victim. I'm not going to allow this to happen. And for me, a lot of the times, what I try to do is instead of creating a monster, because it's easy to do, that monster becomes bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and that monster stays inside you and stays in your mind and creates more anxiety, creates your life to be a ruin, a mess. And I don't want that for you, and I don't want that for me. I don't want it for anybody. I want you to be stronger than that. And so the experience happened. There's nothing we can do about that, but we can do something about what the experience has taught us and how we can use that and use it in a positive way, so we can strengthen. I always say that the greatest lions in this world go through the most abuse and torture. You are the strongest ones in the world. I'm sorry, but you are. Like, what? No, I'm not. You are. You're the strongest lions and light workers in this world. So we've been through that. We've gone through it. Okay. So I kind of like, I know this is going to upset a lot of people, but my understanding is to see a person that did what they did, I don't see them as monsters anymore. It doesn't work. What they did was completely and utterly a sin of the highest kind. Yes, totally. What they did was completely unacceptable, disgusting, evil to its core. No problem. We get that. People do bad things. And we don't want to go down the path of who they are, what they are. But what we want to do is there's got to be some kind of resolution to moving forward with physical abuse. So I'm not asking you to go and hold hands with that person and become friends with them. Not at all. You don't want to be anywhere near them. Just that's it. It's done. But try and understand in some way, make sense of what these we call them monsters, but they were still a child. They went through the torture and the trauma. They probably been abused. They probably had the worst life, and that you were there at the wrong place at the wrong time. It could have been somebody that you thought was lovely and you went out with them, and then all of a sudden they turned psycho, or you didn't even know who they are. At the end of the day, it's the most difficult thing to overcome in your mind, and the most challenging thing to do is to actually forgive that person, is probably the most liberating and healing process for that energy that's within you. So it's like the only way that thought, which accumulates into negative energy, which accumulates into anxiety, the only way that energy that I can see is in your mind that goes down to your stomach and sits there. Only way that's going to go is if you can melt it away. There's only one thing you can do to melt that away, and that is to forgive the person that did what they did, and not see him as a monster anymore, and see them as a human being that did something that they shouldn't have done, and it was wrong. But I forgive the person. I don't forgive the action, not at all. Nobody's asking you to forgive that, but I forgive the person. Now, most people, 99.9%, will not do that. And I totally understand. But I got to tell you, over the 20 years that I've seen, those that forgave are the ones that actually moved on in such a way that they became so strong that they look back and say, I had the power to forgive that person for what they did. And forgiveness is the key. I'm telling you, I know you might not even want to go here because it's disgusting what they did to you and how they did it. And it might be your daughter that went through it, or your son, or something bad happened. You can live with that anger, that pain, that suffering for the rest of your life. And that's your choice. But if you want to bring back some kind of healing in your body so you're not going through sickness, illness, disease, because all of these things manifest to that, and the fact that you've always got this anxiety and fear, that can never go unless you learn to accept the situation and that it isn't just personal. A lot of us tend to think it's personal, but that abuser could abuse 15 other people in the next month. It's just, so it's never personal. It's just wrong place, wrong time. Or if you look deeper, the bigger picture is that the experience that I'm learning is somehow going to create me into something even more spectacular, more special, more beautiful, more understanding. Because those who have been through so much suffering in their life, I notice that there's something so beautiful and special and humble and kind and caring and empathic about these souls that have gone through such trauma, and they become such shining lights. So that's how I see it. So there is this two tier of energy. The first tier of energy is what I spoke about on the mundane life living experiences, people bitching, nastiness and all that. And then this physical one, both of them create anxiety. So you've either got one or the other. So for me, they both can be healed. I've seen them healed and disappeared, gone. So if you're going through this pain and suffering, this is only just a few little nuggets of what I call, the golden nuggets of truth that can help us heal. And you might look at this and switch off, and then in 10 years, you might look back and say, shit, I get it now. I understand it. But what I try and do is say, I want to save you 10 years. And maybe just try these few bits of information that I've learned from my clients and seen the healing process happen so quick than others that went through years and years and years and years and sometimes never, ever got over it because they played the victim. Now, look, I've been through loads of abuse in so many ways you wouldn't believe, but I don't play victim on it. I literally don't, because I don't want to be a victim. I'm stronger than all of those things that happened to me, and I'm wiser than all of those things that happened to me, and I understand why all of those things happened to me now, which makes me even more stronger and more knowledgeable and wiser. And you know what? You feel so much better when you don't hold on to the suffering, when you don't hold on to the anger and the bitterness and all of those blame, hate. It's liberating, it's healing, and then, I don't know, it's something like the moment you move into the spirit world, you look at what you've been through and how you handled it, and you say, okay, I got it. I went through a terrible situation, but I managed to heal through that situation and become a stronger soul. So the experience that I had was exactly what I needed. It's like, wow, that was a hard experience, but look how I managed and handled it. Okay, that's good. Don't need to go through that again. So, I mean, this isn't like I'm warning you. No, it's not. It's like, I think that every experience we go through, it's about how we handle that experience and learn to overcome it, to become stronger than it. If we don't, we stay in that energy. And I think when we move back home, we look at it and think, I think I need to go back again to try that and heal and become stronger than that, because that's the experience that I need to get over, and I need to conquer, and I need to be higher than that energy. So if you're going through anxiety right now, this video may help a little bit. It may trigger something for you to think about. But just on a final note, I just want you to know this wholeheartedly. Anxiety is not something that is fixed or is something that is part of you. It's not. It's a separate energy, frequency, entity that is created by what I've just said, one or the other. And that creation, once you've seen it or felt it, then can build up. So you can feed it or you can let it go. And you have to understand that bit you have to understand. It's like dis-ease. You can either feed it or let it go. So it's not you. You are not anxiety. You are not depression. You are none of those things. You are a perfect, beautiful, shining light. It's just every now and again, you will be triggered by situations or a memory that then you can either fuel instantly and then go down very rapidly, or you can just let it go by finding ways of letting it go. I forgive, I heal, it's okay, everything's going to be fine, I'm going to rise above it, no one has the power over me. And you work on cleansing and clearing yourself. The physical and the emotional always needs a little bit of help. Sage, cleanse yourself with sage smoke, it's wonderful. Use natural oils. Breathe in Mother Earth, go for walks, do things that you're not doing on the computer all day long, looking at the screen, seeing violence and anger. Watch a happy, fun movie and listen to beautiful music. Surround yourself with beautiful people and work towards a future that you want in your mind, body and soul. Create it by every thought you have. Have thoughts and feelings that are positive rather than thinking of all the worst case scenarios. These things are creating. And simply ask the spirit world if you believe in them. Ask if you believe in guides and angels. Just say, give us a hand, guys. Or have a day off. Just say, I'm not holding on to any of this today. Can I leave it to you? I'm just going to get on with my day, but I'm not going to have these negative thoughts and feelings. Will you just take over them? And just somehow work towards letting them go. And it's a bit like, if you want to get healthy, the more health that you put in your mouth, the less crap that goes in your mouth, because you're feeding yourself more health every day. So I eat more healthy food. That means that there's less time for me to eat junk food. That's the same experience as what I'm looking at all day long. Am I looking at the black screen and everybody being sad and negative and angry and right? Or do I look at happy things? I'm watching happier things. I'm focused more on happier than joyful and positive and high vibration things. Why? Well, it's going to be, if you're looking at all of those wonderful, amazing, beautiful things all day long, you've got less time to see all the anger, all the system, nasty evilness all the time. So we have to learn to focus on the positive. And by focusing on the positive, you create the positive. And it's as simple as that, but you have to go through the process. And it might take you at this moment. It might just happen now, or it might happen tomorrow, or it might happen next week. But I do believe, and I've seen it with my hand on my heart, I've seen healing is incredible. So I'm not, advocating run out and get a healing session, but it does help. Healing sessions definitely help. If you get a real healer who knows how to work on energy and clear negative energy, you will feel at peace. But then you have to work on yourself after that. You can't rely on a healer all the time. That's like relying on drugs all the time. It doesn't work. Ultimately, you are your healer, but you're just getting a good start by somebody clearing this spacesuit, and now you're going to fill it with the right things and the right thoughts and the right foods and so on. So I'm wishing you well today. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope some of the little things that I shared with you today have helped you along your journey. I really know this hand on my heart. If you feel anxiety, like anything in life, things change. Everything changes. The world changes. Everything changes moment by moment. You will not be stuck in that energy for long. And the quicker you take these steps that I share with you, the quicker it just disappears. It's gone. And like people say, how did that just go? And because it's not you. Well, I've had it for 38 years. Yeah, you have. But you haven't met a healer, or you haven't experienced that, but you have now. Well, I can't believe this. Oh, that means it isn't me. Exactly. Because if it was you, then why are you feeling okay now? Why is everything fine? It's just an energy that we create. And if you see it like that, it's just an energy. We are energy, but we need to create the right energy. So it's just energy. Clear that away. It's gone. Okay, now you're who you're meant to be, and everything's fine. And then when something else happens and triggers us, okay, we see what that is and we heal what triggers us. And it could be inside us that we need to heal, or it could be an exterior that they need to heal. If they can't heal, because it's not your job to fix them, but if you've tried, you say, okay, no more. I'm not dealing with that anymore, and I'm going to rise above it and let them get on with their life, or the situation, let it be. So these were my understandings of healing the process of anxiety and what people like to call depression. You're not depressed and you haven't got anxiety. It's just the physical body reacting to something that's inside your body that shouldn't be there, that maybe you created or somebody else did. But hey, you have to clear that temple out. You got to clear it out and get rid of that crap. Okay? That's it. Have a great day. Take care.